Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we are looking at a ship that I generally tend not to play, and a ship that has a certain reputation, and a ship that I occasionally mention when I'm saying kill on sight. This is the Smolensk. Now, a couple of you have asked, why is that? What makes the Smolensk so dangerous? And I was actually curious to see if today, with today's understanding and everybody pretty much being aware of how dangerous this thing can be, the Smolensk is still a completely overpowered ship and extremely easy to do 130, 140,000 points of damage in. So, what makes the Smolensk so dangerous? Well, let's have a quick look, shall we? Actually, let's have a quick visual look. So if you're unfamiliar with the Smolensk, she is a tier 10 Soviet, well, I would almost say scout cruiser. Look at the guns. Is there anything that you notice about these turrets? Yes, these are quadruple turrets. And she's got 4 of them. This thing's got 16 guns. And that's not all. These 16 guns have a 12-kilometer range, even though they are 130mm destroyer caliber guns. These guns also have an almost 5% fire chance with the respective elite bonus. This thing is an HE spammer. This is not just any HE spammer. This thing is an absolutely murderous HE spammer, because the sheer amount of fire with a 5-second base reload and 16 guns this thing can output is quite disgusting. She also has 2 smoke screens. She does get the defensive AA, which is not great. The downside of the Smolensk, however, is if you look at the hit points of this thing, she's got basically about as much hit points as you would, a little bit more than what you would expect in a destroyer. The difference being that the Smolensk has a citadel. This is an extremely squishy ship, and this ship is extremely dangerous if you leave her alone. And that's kind of where the comments come in. It's like, if you see a Smolensk, kill it. Because the longer you leave the Smolensk alive, the more fires the darn thing is going to set, and the more it can use its ridiculous amount of shells that it can output. If you kill a Smolensk early on, well, the same goes for every other ship, but you won't be able to do an awful lot of damage very quickly in the Smolensk. You do need the time, to set things on fire, trigger their damage control, and then burn them down with permafires. You do some damage, obviously, with the shells themselves, but the fires is often where it's really at, and this is where you get the really, really large damage numbers, and this is why people hate the ship so much. But at the same time, now that everybody knows that, I was really curious to see, what if I put my name out there? And I'm playing this on press because I don't have one in my personal account, and I wouldn't have one either. What if I put my name out there and get out there in the Smolensk and play around and see how people react? We are starting out in a 5v5, playing center control on cage against Incomparable, Monty, Yamato, Worcester, and Daring. Now, you would think that the Smolensk, and we've got double Smolensk on our team. You'd think that the Smolensk almost would look like a support cruiser, but she really isn't quite. So if you're playing this for the team, you're in the wrong ship. The Smolensk is a ship of egoists. So we're not going into the capture circle because, well, this is a Smolensk. You didn't open your wallet to have to maintain capture circles. You opened your wallet to get into a position from which you can burn enemy ships and gather as much damage as you possibly can, and then come up on top of the team despite your best efforts of not capturing the capture area. To be fair, also the Smolensk can almost be one-shot by everything, especially nasty things like Christopher Columbus, and I'm not sure what the Incomparable is going to be capable of doing to it, but I don't want to find out because I only have 28,000 hit points, and that's not an awful lot. So we're going to stay outside the capture circle. Let the team deal with that. Like I said, you don't buy yourself a Smolensk because you want to be a team player. There is a bot gearing, .care. There is a battleship Yeah, someone else can go and capture the target area. I'm in a Smolensk. I've got Worcesters to shoot at. Let's fire at Worcester. Worcester is shooting back at me, obviously, so we're going to use our first smoke. The bots can unfortunately negate that to a degree, but Worcester should have been probably firing armor piercing at this range. That's my first hit there, but unfortunately now Worcester is mildly out of range, so I can't really capitalize on it, because there is also the Incomparable coming around. Now against destroyers, the armor piercing is actually pretty devastating, because again it's Soviet armor piercing, but these are bots, they don't damacon, so I'm just going to set in some fires here, because there comes the Incomparable, and he is hidden behind that little ledge there. So let's see if we can hit him and start farming that thing, because that's why we're having this. There he comes. Yeah, that's why we're having the Smolensk. We want to farm, and we've burned something down. We want to farm battleships, and he's he's harmlessly penetrating my bow section. Now we're no longer spotted, which is good, which is why we're hiding behind this rock here, so we can rain death and destruction onto the Incomparable. Unfortunately, the Incomparable is now again out of range, and he's found himself someone else to shoot at. There is Worcester still. We are kind of capturing the capture circle, but again, this is secondary because we are in a Smolensk. This is none of our concern. We are trying to set fires on that Incomparable, and he just doesn't want to burn, which is quite irritating. There is a daring. I mean, we are in a cruiser, so we can probably spare a salvo for the team, but now we're going back and trying to set fire to the Incomparable, because you know darings don't have enough hit points. It's not worth wasting shots on these things. Unfortunately, that Incomparable does not want to come out and play. So okay then, let's see if we can edge a little bit closer, because nobody currently has any angles. Everybody is nice and bunched up, and let's see if we can irritate the Incomparable sufficiently for him to come out. Now, unfortunately, from the flat Soviet arcs, we can no longer shoot at him. But we can drop some torpedoes in his way, because the Smolensk also has torpedoes, and they are the premium range, so longer range torpedoes. And then we're going to be running bravely away, because that's an Incomparable. And you're in a Smolensk, you do not wish to be close to anything. There he comes, so run away, smoke up, see if we can set some fires. And these torpedoes should have range. Yep, he's over-penetrated again, so I can set out in case he comes any closer. Yep. There is a daring out there, so we can't stay here. He's probably going to drop torpedoes in our general direction. But again, we are not in a cruiser, we're in a small... What are you... Oh, that's a bot. It's a bot Fletcher. I don't know what Fletcher is dropping. Me, probably. But we've got double perma-fire by the looks of it on the Incomparable. Triple, make that a triple, who is now very, very annoyed. But yeah, there come the daring torpedoes as predicted. That's why I wasn't hanging around in the smoke screen, because smoke screens attract torpedoes. But Incomparable just damaconed, so let's see if we can, while we're dodging his very big shells, if we can make ourselves useful. And I think he is extremely annoyed at this point, because he's sailing in a straight line towards the map border and is probably furiously pressing the button. I am going to have to apologize, because I really don't like playing this ship. And that's the Incomparable bothered off. What is the other Smolensk doing in the... And that's another fire on him. What's the other Smolensk doing in the capture circle? You don't know... Have you not heard? You're in a Smolensk. You have purchased the privilege of not having to deal with something as mundane as capture circles. Capture circles are for peasants, all right? So, what else can we farm damage on? There's that Monty over there. And there's still a destroyer somewhere, but it's talking when the torpedoes coming in. But I want to get in range of that Monty there. There's Elbing. Elbing can deal with a destroyer. And torpedoes didn't have range. So, let's see if we can set another fire on Monty. The Incomparable is still alive. He's run away, but to lick his wounds. Yeah, there's a destroyer. Man, I don't care. So this is going to get behind the island such that the torpedoes can't hit me, and then we are going to try and burn down the Montana. Well, I can't see the Montana, annoyingly, because daring smoke's in the way and the island's in the way, so somebody could please re-spot the Montana. I've got privilege here that I would like to exercise. In the meantime, since I got nothing else to shoot at, okay, daring is dead. Well done, Elbing. There's a scout plane conspicuously. Oh, there's the Incomparable. Where this range. Montana has been respotted, so thank you very much. I can now resume my efforts of farming said thing. And see if I can get another fire set. Unfortunately, Monty isn't as easy to set on fire like other things. But, you know, if at once you don't succeed, you try again. And, oh, come on, Yama. And the Incomparable is back, and he's actually hit me, which generally tends to... end rather poorly with Smolensk. So let's set him on fire and then run away. Something is shooting me, and that's not... Oh, Worcester. Hello, Mr. Worcester. If you had fired armor piercing, I'd be dead by now, but he hasn't figured that out yet. So let's give him some torpedoes in case he keeps reversing, and then run away, because our privilege does not include fighting Worcesters at close range. We're here to burn down battleships. And he is not stupid. I mean, he is not using the armor piercing and killing me, so I get to kill him, but he at least has dodged the torpedoes, so well on him. But yeah, as you can see, Smolensk is a privileged ship. Smolensk does not concern itself with such banalities as fighting enemy destroyers or capturing capture areas. Smolensk is here with a singular purpose of farming as much fire damage as it possibly can and setting everything on fire, because that's what Smolensk is for. In the second battle, we are the only Smolensk in the village. If you get that reference, good on you. Little Britain. And we are up against Großer Kurfürst, Missouri, Des Moines, Hindenburg, and Seattle. Now, see, this is very irritating, because matchmaking has clearly not gotten the memo that Smolensk would very much like to be fighting battleships exclusively. So such that it has more hit points to farm. Especially things like a Hindenburg and like a Des Moines are very, very annoying when you're in a Smolensk, because they hurt very much. And they are very precise, and they are reloading very quickly, which makes dealing with these things very, very annoying. So I'm going to head towards that capture circle. I don't really have an intent of capturing. That's a Grozovoi problem. He can do that. He's in a destroyer. But I will just kind of camp behind that island and see if I get anything to fire at. Now, Smolensk, as a Soviet ship, does not have quite the high fire arcs that you get on the Americans. So in a Worcester, you could just camp without being spotted. But there's our first customer. And it is a battleship. And by the looks of it, it's the Großer Kurfürst. So let's get him locked on and then let the Dakar commence. And if he would be on fire, that would be great. Now, the unfortunate issue, obviously, is that I am spotted. And this is probably due to that destroyer, but I'm also open behind the island. Großer Kurfürst is turning away, but here comes the Des Moines. So we are going to have to start smoking up and trying to get... Ow, yes, that is what happens if anything shoots at Smolensk. So it's double fire on the Großer Kurfürst. He damage controls, good on him. He's waited until the double fire, but now he's going to get hit by the Grozovoi torpedoes, and he's going to be set on fire again by Smolensk if I have anything to do about it. Meanwhile, the Des Moines, yeah, that's permafire, permaflood, not my permafire though. Not sure where the Grozovoi thinks he's got the right to do that. I'm supposed to be setting things on fire here, but... well, I'll take it. I'll take it. But that Großer Kurfürst literally just had... how much fun do you think he had? And if it wasn't for that Des Moines putting the hurt on... Yeah, there he goes. If it wasn't for the Des Moines putting the hurt on, this would have been... This would have been even easier. Now I've got Des Moines to shoot at, so Des Moines is a little annoying, because Des Moines has very nasty 200mm guns and tends to reload them rather quickly. Fortunately, he's shooting at other things, but Des Moines is also not easy to set on fire, which is not a problem. Generally, if you're in Smolensk, you just shoot enough and then everything burns eventually, but he tends to shoot back, and yeah, ow, that hurt. I thought he would clip the island there, but it looks like this island actually has a sane hitbox. And there's a... Ow, yes. okay, I get it. I need to bugger off here, because that island hitbox is not as broken as I thought it was going to be. And just like that, you're out of hitbox. And see, this is the problem in the Smolensk. When everybody starts shooting at you, you're not going to get to have any fun. That is the really, really annoying reality of Smolensk. So I'm going to have to use my smoke. There's also Seattle. If you're up against things like Des Moines, like Hindenburgs, even a Worcester or a Seattle at close range, if they're firing armor piercing and can hit you, are very, very irritating. And the thing is, most people have realized how dangerous Smolensks are. That's just the thing, right? Oftentimes when you find yourself in a Smolensk and you find yourself spotted, immediately you get 2 or 3 enemy ships starting to shoot at you, which if you're in a Smolensk does usually not end very well. That said, if you play selfishly and just kind of make yourself... Yeah, see, Neptune has a similar problem with the Hindenburg. Neptune is a scout cruiser. And now Seattle is firing armor piercing at me. That's unfortunate. I hate it when people learn. But we are setting the Seattle on fire, which is probably not something he's used to. And there is that Des Moines. Unfortunately, fortunately, he was shooting high explosive, but he has switched to the armor piercing. So no, do not want. I am far too far forward. And there's also Missouri. Okay, nope, nobody, nope. Do not want to be here. Where's my team? My team's supposed to be tanking for me. Why is nobody doing their job around here? And I have to do this all myself. There we go. That's the Des Moines killed. Now we just have to dodge the return fire. Yep, 295. That's enough. Here comes the Missouri. Shots in. Can't really do anything. 23 hit points. That'll do. Thanks, Wargaming. But now I'm out of heals. And these last 2,000 hit points is all we're ever going to get. So we'll let the team tank for us at this point, because that's quite enough frontline duty for Smolensk. Smolensk is not used to this kind of treatment. So while we are chasing after things, and we only have done 60,000 points of damage, which isn't great in a Smolensk. Up there's Hindenburg. Okay, stop, reverse. Let the team go forward. Okay, Hindenburg, you've got a cruiser and a destroyer to shoot at. Who are you going to fire at? The Rhone, the destroyer? Nope, he's firing at me. Oh, of course he is. See, that's the problem in a Smolensk. Everybody starts shooting at you. I wonder why that is. And well, while I agree with that on general purposes, I disagree with that when I'm sitting in one. But luckily, I don't do that very often, or actually not more like never. Once every 2 years or something, when I have to refresh everybody's memory why you should be killing these things as soon as you can see them. By the way, the Hindenburg can almost one-shot a Smolensk if you're lucky, from range, in a smoke, because blind fire is a thing. So yeah. Kill Smolensk on sight, because they are really, really nasty little buggers. Okay, Hindi, you're not gonna... Oh, this was for Grozovoy. Yeah, Grozovoy has seen them coming. And we're just helping Grozovoy against that Hindenburg over there, but these torpedoes are not gonna have range. And we're giving chase to the Missouri to... Yep, that's what happens, Grozovoy, if you come out broadside onto a Hindenburg. You don't do that. Okay, so Rhone's gonna kill the Hindenburg. I want some fires on that Missouri, because he's got more hit points. And he's shooting back at me, which, given that he's being chased by Yamato, but no. Obviously, the one thing that everybody wants and everybody should be shooting at is a Smolensk. So we only get to do 89,000 points of damage, which is really not what I've paid money for. Well, I haven't, but someone who has the Smolensk has. You should demand a refund, honestly, and it should be more... you should not be shot at in these things. Anyway, so is Smolensk still an extremely dangerous ship? Yes, absolutely. Should you kill one on site? Yes. Are you going to get 150,000 points of damage every battle? No, because everybody who sees a Smolensk starts shooting at it, which tends to end Smolensk rather rapidly. So yeah, there we go. That's the end of that battle. And that means I don't have to play Smolensk anymore. And everybody is for the happy on the whole thing. So yeah, it's still a very dangerous ship, but she does get, if she gets targeted, melts extremely quickly, which is what you should be doing. You should be smacking Smolensks out of the water, because the longer these things exist, the more dangerous they get. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.